Hi, I wasn't planning on making a video today, John Capobianco here, but this has nothing to do with my vibe coding. I had a wicked vibe coding experience, and I had it ngrokked out, and it worked over the cloud. So how do I move it to the cloud? And in the past, this involved, in my case, using up free credits from Azure or AWS or Google, and then typically bringing up some form of compute. Let's just call it, for argument's sake, an EC2 instance in Amazon Web Services that you have to load and configure and know the dashboards and know what you're doing. And there's some networking and there's some forwarding and there's some security and there's some certificates and there's some DNS. Lots involved here just to move a simple project to the cloud. Well, what about serverless? You've heard of serverless, and we're going to be exploring something in Google today called Google Cloud Run. That's what it's actually called, is Cloud Run. So I don't know if you want to actually do some Google about this, Google Cloud Run, right? Google Cloud Run, AI mode. Fully managed serverless application platform that enables developers to deploy and run containerized applications, batch jobs, event-driven functions on Google scalable infrastructure. Abstracts away all infrastructure management, allowing users focus on purely writing code. Now, one thing I'm not going to get to do is a pull request. Well, let me do the pull request. I haven't announced this project publicly quite yet. So let's try a pull request and see how that goes with my... So I'm under the create a service, and it can be an artifact registry or Docker Hub. I picked a GitHub repo, Cloud Build, and I click Set Up with Cloud Build, right? You can see over here there's pricing, and it's a free tier for me, and I get up to all these requests per month, or I can do Developer Connect. I did a Cloud Build. I gave it a name. I picked a region. I think I picked Ohio because it's got low CO2 here, something like that. I allowed public access. I think I had request-based, but there is also instance-based. Right, and you can see the differences. I didn't touch any of the other things. Okay, so I went through this, and then it brought me to, if I edit and deploy, hang on, that's not what I wanted to do here. If I edit my repo settings here, all I did was, it doesn't show. See, I didn't touch any of this. Hang on. This is too deep. Let me go back. Let me go back again. So I ended up here after I filled out those forms. And I wanted to show you the actual Git code that I added. This isn't letting me show you that. But when I built this, all I did was put in my python-m http.server. That's it, because all I wanted to do was host my web server. So that was all I had to add. It gives me all this great information that I didn't have to touch or build. Okay, now if we go into the overview of my project, you can see that I have this nice project. It has all this great stuff, information about the usage and hits and everything. And if I go to my, right down here, the overview, where was the other screen I had? Services. So you can see that this is a deployment type from GitHub repository. Okay, and it's Battle Chest 9000. And it has this internal URL that takes me to the site. And it all works. Like, the whole thing just works. It's pretty remarkable. And then I can also go to domain mappings. So I went ahead and purchased battlechest9000.com. And when you add a mapping, right, it's going to walk you through some things here to verify your domain. But this was all seamless and point and click with a direct connection to GitHub, or to GoDaddy, excuse me. Now, under the settings, let me go back. So that's the .com that I bound. Now, how did I do this binding? It was through these DNS records. So I added these DNS records into my GoDaddy, and then it was able to bind it and did the certificates for me. So this is it. This is my menu. That's my service. I don't have to worry about RAM, memory, CPU, firewalls, ports, OAuth, nothing. Certificates, DNS. Like the DNS was very minimal. So now I actually have, right, battlechest9000.com out there on the web. Through this, free as far as I can tell until I hit a certain number of requests a month. Serverless app, I did it in just as much time as it took me to describe this, with a little bit of latency waiting for the DNS. Now let's try the Git operations. I really wanted to try this. So right now I have the one that I wrote. And by the way, someone made a redneck one based on Redneck Rampage, the DOS game. And it's got this awesome redneck patchwork theme. And look at the characters, the king with the beer, the queen. Isn't this remarkable? And if we switch over to the black side, right? And the animations are just wild. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. So we have these two game modalities. I've been working on an aliens versus robots, which isn't quite done, and I will fix it. But let me go ahead and do a pull request and pull in the space repo. I really believe that this is going to be Git based. So if I go in here and do the pull request, and I'm going to say partially done, right? Checkpoint for testing, cloud run, GitHub integration. All animations are not yet complete. Create pull request. Merge the pull request. Okay, so I've merged into main. Now, how quickly does this pick that up? Now let's make sure I added the theme. Yeah, aliens versus robots. Okay, so do I have to redeploy this, or how do I... What triggers the... You see, that's interesting, and I don't want to fumble around too much here, but I've pulled it in from my branch into main. Triggers. Do I have to add a trigger or something? Let me try the internal service. It hasn't picked up the change yet. All right, I will do some research and come back to you. It's building. Yeah, I'm going to kill the music. So it's building it. I just have to be patient. All right, so that's cool. That's exactly what I wanted. So I don't have to do anything. I just managed to get now 5 minutes. I'm just going to wait for this build. And it's all based on the PR, the pull request. So let's give it the 5 minutes. So I just had to do my Git work, and in theory, I refresh this and I'll see my new flavor of game. True GitOps. And I would argue, I'm going to make an argument separate at the end of this, if you make it all the way to the end. I think this is Git gaming or vibe gaming. So I put out a chess game with one level. Okay, the medieval chaos. I started with this, and I put the source code out there, and people had to run their own version to generate something like this, the redneck one. Truly like a Git. Imagine if every game out there gave you access to the source code and you could add your own players, your own themes, or whatever. Well, that's sort of what's happening here. That's exactly what's happening here. You answer the 3 prompts, and it generates the board, it generates the pieces, and it generates the combat animations when you take a piece with another piece. All from your 3 prompts. That's it. Vibe gaming. Vibe GitOps, GitOps, Git gaming. Really exciting. So 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Now it's uploading more assets. So I understand why this is going to take probably a little longer than the last one, is because there's that many more movie files. And can I drill into the build? Ooh, nice. Oh, wicked. Check it out. Awesome. So doing all the pip stuff. Really nice. Push deploy. And the trigger based on this source, based on this commit. And if I drill to this commit, it's going to be that commit we just looked at, or that we just did together in my GitHub. I hope. And it was that trigger. All right. Beautiful. Here we go, merge pull request. And it's that aliens versus robots pull request we just did. And here's the prompt, by the way, right? The checkerboard, the pieces, the animation. Just got to be patient, just got to be patient. And I mean, I can stop the video and come back once this is built. We're into 7 minutes now. I don't know, I'm assuming any minute it'll be ready. Probably as soon as I stop recording. Okay, here we go. Just like I said. So 2 modalities of the chess game. The build is done. And we're just going to head back into the dashboard here. All right, that's cool. Last successful build. Build history, average duration, pass, fail. Based on the commit. Isn't this all wonderful? Now how do I get back to my battle chess? I want to get back to the cloud run. Here we go, cloud run. Overview. Beauty, beauty. 2 minutes ago updated. All right, so now let's refresh the page. Shift F5. There we are, aliens versus robots. Now let me change that to be underscores. I won't do that now. But check it out, aliens versus robots. Capo, start battle. All right, now look at this. So we have these wicked robot chess pieces, the wicked alien pawns, king and queen, the bishop, the cool knights, right? Versus the 50s style, retro futuristic, we'll call it. So what they thought these things might look like in the 1950s with the transistors and the... Yeah, this is exciting. All right, so let's just play out. I don't have all the animations, though. That's right. Never mind. We'll have to wait on... Let's see if I can get one animation just to show you the flavor of the animations that this has. I think I have this animation. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, missing animation. That's fine. That wasn't the point. All right, so back to the point. You saw it. Git repo that has an HTML front end and some Python or whatever. We could run Python scripts. We could run Docker containers. In my case, it truly is just the HTML and the assets in the cloud, which is perfect for this. I don't need a server. I don't need an instance. I don't need to spend $7 at a minimum a month, up to $15 a month if you don't know what you're doing when you're reserving these cloud instances and resources. You've seen me connected to my GoDaddy. Could be your Cloudflare or whatever. You've seen me connected to my GitHub repo and do a pull request and do GitOps, VibeOps, Vibe Gaming, Git Gaming, you name it. So I challenge you to one, clone my repo and make your own theme of the game and do exactly what I did. And I'll merge your pull request in and we can watch it build it and add your level to the game. Tomorrow I'll have more tokens and be able to finish generating this iteration of the game, the Aliens one. And I'm having a lot of fun. I hope this helps you bring your ideas truly to the cloud. Thank you.